Right, tutorial 2.2. Right, so some of your answers are a bit, non-conclusive. So now I'll just discuss the the case first, and then if any one of you wants me to review your answer, please say so. I will review here. Right, so now, okay, now Jason, right? Jason is a buy-side analyst covering the furniture industry, right? Looking for an attractive company to buy, to recommend as buy. He analyzes several furniture makers by studying their financial reports and visiting their operations. He also talks to some designers and retailers to find out which furniture styles are trendy and popular. Although none of the companies that he analyzes are a clear buy, he discovers that one of them, Swan Furniture Company, may be in financial trouble. All right, so financial trouble, right? So Swan Furniture Company's extravagant new designs have been introduced at substantial cost. So even though these designs initially attracted attention, the public is now buying more conservative furniture from other makers. So it's not in demand. All right, and moreover, it's introduced at substantial cost. That means it may not be doing well. It's not making a profit. Right. So based on this information and on the profit and loss analysis, right? Okay. Tija believes that the earnings, right? So actually here, Tija is still Jason. That is his surname actually. Okay. I'll still use his first name, right? So Jason, right, believes that the next quarter earnings will drop substantially. Okay. Right. So he issues a sell recommendation. So now he's changing, right? First, he recommended as a buy. Now he's recommending as a sell, right? Because of this financial trouble, right? Okay. So he's changing his decision. So immediately after receiving that recommendation, right, investment managers start reducing the the SFC stock in their portfolios. Right. So now he's so now these these quarterly earnings, right? Right. These quarterly earnings will drop substantially. So this is material information, right? It's material information. Right, material information. So right, so he's actually using a lot of public information. Okay, right? So he's basing this earnings drop on public information, right? And now he's using the opinions of others, right? Here, this part, some designers and retailers, right? He's using the opinions of others. He talks to some designers and retailers. Right now, here he just he believed that it will drop. So this information about the next quarter's earning drop is not from the company. It's not relayed from inside. All right, this is from his own deduction. All right, from his own deduction. Okay, so that means all right, so that means yeah, I mean Jason's conclusion, right, seems to be correct, right? But it's not based on information derived from inside, right? It's based on his analysis, right? So that means his conclusion here is not prohibited by standard 2A, right? So now, Jesus, hang on, my cursor is not working. Right, so maybe, okay. So actually, right, the information on the quarterly earnings, I mean, the information itself, right, is material or non-public, okay? All right, so now actually, right, I'll put it in point forms, right? Right, I'm saying Jason, right? Yeah, he arrived this part here, right? Jason arrived at his conclusion about the earnings, right? Earnings drop, right? It is his conclusion, right? It's not any information from inside. So he made his conclusion on the basis of public information, right? This public information from the retailers here, right? And on pieces of other non-material, uh, I mean, sorry, I mean the this information is actually from here. Okay, now this public information, right, is from here, right? Not this part here. Okay, are you with me? All right. Any question? Now, who wants me to review the answer? Right. So maybe we can conclude like this, right? right? So therefore, conclusion based on Jason's correct conclusion, right? Trading based on Jason's correct conclusion is not prohibited by standard 2A. Okay, he's not actually using information from inside. Right, for those students who are still confused, right, now this information, right, is not really information because Jason believes, all right, the next quarter earnings will drop substantially, right? So it is based on his beliefs. He believes it's from his deduction, right? So the information is what he deduced. Any question? Right, I'll talk about case 2. Any question for case 1? Please respond. Are you there? No response. Okay, now I'll talk about case 2, right? Okay, Ricardo is a senior financial analyst who specializes in the European automobile sector at Rivoli Capital because he has been repeatedly nominated by many leading industry magazines, right, as a best analyst. So basically, Ricardo is the authority, right? So after speaking with representatives of Turbo Chariots, right, which is a European auto manufacturer, right? Selling, the market is in Korea. And after conducting interviews with salespeople, labor leaders, right? Then his firm's currency department, right? And other banking officials, right? So Ricardo analyzed this company and concluded, right? A few points, right? The newly introduced model will not meet sales expectations. That means sales will be quite poor. And its corporate restructuring strategy may well face serious opposition from unions, right? And depreciation of the Korean won should lead to pressure on the margins for the industry. So profit is going down. And all right, so banks could take a tougher stance, right? So credit is no good. Okay, so financial backing is no good. So these are all negative conclusions. All right, so very negative. So for these reasons, he changes his conclusion about the company from market outperform. So before it was very good, right? Outperform to market underperform. That means it's no good. So Ricardo retains the support material used to reach his conclusion in case question later arise. So this is a good part here about Ricardo, right? Ricardo retains the support material, right? So he can prove whether, right, he actually used material non-public information or not. Okay, so he retains the support material, which is very important. Okay, now explain whether he has violated 2A. So basically, right, Ricardo has pieced together, right, all this information, right, about the value of the company. So actually, Ricardo is valuing the company. So Ricardo has pieced together a number of non-material or public bits of information that affects the company. All right. So, I mean, this is just in point form. I mean, this you have to explain yourself, right? So maybe I can say like that, right? Right. This is the basis, right? So he has actually reached a conclusion about the value company by piecing together a number of non-material or public bits of information. All right. Right. So therefore, under the mosaic theory, Ricardo has not violated the standard in drafting the report. Okay. And moreover, he has also retained the support material. Okay. He's basing his conclusion about the company using all this information here. Right. Right. Using all this information here. Any question? Right. So now case 3. Right. So as I've said, case 3 is a sequential case of case 2. So it's a follow-up of case 2. Right. So case 3. Okay. The next day, Ricardo is preparing to be interviewed on a global financial news television program where he will discuss his change recommendation on turbochargers for the first time in public. All right. So while preparing for the program, he mentions to the show's producers and Mary Zito, the journalist who will be interviewing him, the information he'll be discussing, right? Just prior, right? So just prior, this part here, to going on the air, Zito sells her holdings, right? She also phones her father, with information because she knows that he and the other families have investment in Tegro Chariots. Her father subsequently informed the other family members, and as a result, the whole family acted. Now that means Zito, right? Zito has caused others to act, right? Because she knows that it will affect the share price. Okay, right? He mentions to her, okay, to the show's producers and Mary Zito, who be right the information. So he mentions the information he will be discussing, right? This part here, right? And he mentioned it while preparing for the program. Okay, and just before going on air, now Zito's, sells a holding, call her broker, also phones her father, and the other family all members all acted. All right, so that means Zito has violated standard 2A. All right, so basically, right, Zito has received advance notice because prior to going on air, right, of Ricardo's change of opinion. Okay, Okay, she knows that it will have a material impact. Right? So Zito received advance notice. That means it's prior to being the information being disseminated in a public fashion. Right? And she knows and that it will have a material impact. Right? So this part doesn't matter. Of the underlying reasoning doesn't matter. Okay, but she knows about this material non-public information. Okay, now Zito is actually not a client, right? Zito is not a client of Ricardo, right? Because Zito is just a journalist. Okay, so maybe you can say this, right? Right, she's not a client, but obtained early access. Right, obtains early access to this material non-public information prior to publication. Right, so basically she acted on it, right? So that means she's trading on it, okay, based on this material non-public information, and therefore she violated 2A. Now she has actually, I mean, she's quite serious actually, because she has also caused others to act. Okay, she has also caused others to act. Right, Zito further violates, the standard by relaying the information. So she caused others to act. Are you with me? By relaying the information to the father and the whole family, and the whole family acted on the information. Right, she also acted. She also traded. Right, she also caused others to act. Are you with me? Right. Any question? Right. So case 4. We have Ashton Keller, right, retirement investment professional who manages his own portfolio. So he owns shares in National Savings, right? So this close friend, John Mayfield, right, is a senior executive at National, and National has seen its stock price drop, right? And the news, that means the outlook is not good. So they had a conversation about the banking industry when they're playing golf, right? And right, so Mayfield relays the information that National will surprise the investment community in a few days when it, so this announcement is about actually earning for the quarter. Okay, so this is material information. So yeah, Kellogg is surprised, right? And he thought that Mayfield, being a senior executive, he knows the law, right, and would not disclose information, right? So he doubles his position in the bank, right? This part here, right? He doubles his position. You know what it means by double? Who doesn't know what is meant by this phrase? He doubles his position in the bank. Who doesn't know? Hello? Hello, who doesn't know what is meant by double his position? Agnes Yeo, can you explain what is meant by double his position in the bank? Wei Xiang is saying you, Wang Gokjun saying you don't know. Now who knows? Who? Well, if you don't understand, yeah, buy extra share. Yeah, is buying extra share. Is buying extra share, but how much extra? One student is saying buying extra share, but how much extra? Double his share. That's right. Very good. Double his share. Right? Because your name is in Chinese, I don't know who you are. I can't read Chinese. Who's the student who said double his share? What's your name in English? Double his share. What's your name in English? For instance, if Chin DC, all right, good, Chin DC, right? Double his position means that, say, if you have 1,000 shares, that means you buy another 1,000. Are you with me? Double his position. All right. So that means he buy more shares. So he believes in it, right? So subsequently, National announces that it has good operating earnings, but had to set aside reserves for anticipated losses on its portfolio. Right. So now this part here, all right, let me clear my drawings. Right. So double his position. He double his position, right? Okay. Now, sorry. Right. So subsequently, right. So this is good operating earnings. This is good news. Right. But had to set aside reserves for anticipated losses. This is bad news. So you have good news and bad news, right? So this combined news caused the stock to go down, right? So the stock go down 60%. It's very serious. Okay. Right. So basically, the key point here is that Kellogg, right? He should not have doubled his position. He should not. He should not have done that. Right? Because if you do that, he's breaking the law. Because he's actually using this inside information, which is related by Mayfield. Mayfield related this information, right, about excellent earnings. And indeed, there was the earnings were good. right? So that means Kellogg has violated 2A. Right, and moreover, Kellogg, yeah, even though he's retired, but he's an investment professional, right? He also owns shares in that company, National. Okay, so that means Ashton Kellogg has violated 2A. Right, so some key points here. Right, so even though Kellogg believes that Mayfield will not break the law by disclosing inside information and the money was lost on the purchase, right, Kellogg should not have purchased additional shares because it is inside information. Right, and because Kellogg is he is an investment professional, so he should know the standard. Right, he should know that you're not supposed to use material non-public information. Right, so Kellogg, it is his responsibility to make sure that he doesn't use this material non-public information. Right, so basically, so that means Kellogg has violated 2A. Okay, any question? Right, now I'll talk about case 5. John Doe, right, is a research analyst for hedge fund that also sells his research to a select group of paying client investment firms. Okay, Doe focus is medical technology companies and products, and he's been in the business long enough, right, and has been successful enough to build up a very credible network of friends and experts in the business. Right, Doe has been working on a major research report recommending Boyce Health, a medical device manufacturer. He recently ran into an old acquaintance at a wedding who is a senior executive at Boyce, right? And Doe asked about the business. Doe was drawn to a statement that the executive who has responsibilities in the new product area made about the product. He said, right, I would not get too excited about the medium-term prospects. We have a lot of work to do first, right? So okay, so Doe incorporated this and other information about the new Boyce product into his long-term recommendation of Boyce. So now the question is asking you to discuss. So what should we be discussing about? Okay, so uh, right, so John, right, is discussing with this old acquaintance, right? Is at a wedding. Yeah, formerly he was who is a senior executive at Boyce, right? Right. So now information like this, right? I will not get too excited about the medium-term prospects. We have a lot of work to do first. Okay. So now, I mean, maybe he's trying to play down the excitement about the new product. Okay. Right. Now, this new product here, this new medical product. So maybe there was some hype, some hype about the product. And then the other executives say, he's trying to play it down. I would not get too excited. We have a lot of work to do first. So now this statement, we are, I mean, it's difficult to say whether this is material or not. Okay. But anyway, Dow incorporated this information, this statement, and other information as well. Right. So that means this bit of information uh, is also like part of a mosaic of information. You know, this bit of information is like a part of a mosaic. To use to recommend voice health. Okay. So now the question here is John actually trying to solicit or obtain material non-public information from this old acquaintance? Is he trying to? We don't know, right? I mean, this from the facts stated here, right? So actually, yeah, I mean, regarding this statement, okay. So basically, boys should weigh this statement together with other facts, before determining whether this information is material enough to influence the share price. Okay, so these are my points here. Right, so I mean, these are just some of the key points here.